Hi, sophomores. We are going to talk to you today about the scheduling process and what we want you to keep in mind when planning for next year. My name is Mrs. Brenner, and I'm going to start us off. Mrs. Rose will follow up at the end. So first things first is the scheduling timeline. I'm going to go over each one of these sections a little bit more in depth. It's not only, first it's talking with your teachers, it's making sure you have time to think about your courses, the online scheduling window, and then when you meet with us, your counselor. So first things first is educating yourself about the options that you have for next year. I know many of you have been taking the last few weeks to do so, and we want you to know that you have another couple weeks that you can do that as well. So number one resource is your current teachers. I know a lot of them have already been talking about options for next year. Some of them have shared their recommendations, particularly the academic classes. If you're not sure what they recommended you for, please make sure that you're going back and talking with them about that if you missed it. But as you have questions, whether it's about different course levels or different classes in the sequence or whatever that might be, your teachers are a really fantastic resource. We also have what we call our course planner. It's basically the catalog of all of the classes that we have offered at Sycamore High School. This catalog includes everything from the graduation requirements, honors diploma information, Great Oaks information, all the way through every single course and a description of each. The academic fair is also a great resource, particularly this year because it was a virtual setup. So there is a series of Google Slides. We have it linked to our website. It'll be in the email in which you received this video. That's another really nice visual way to look at classes. A lot of our teachers created videos explaining a little bit more detail about their classes, and so that's a great resource that we encourage you to use. So once you really have about 2 weeks, week and a half to 2 weeks to continue going through and thinking about your classes for next year. Starting on February 15th, I believe, is when the window will open up for online scheduling. That Friday before, which I believe is February 12th, you will get an email that also has the link to online scheduling and your specific username and password. For those of you who were here at Sycamore last year, you may remember this. For those of you that are new, you are going to get a very unique username and password for this online scheduling system. It's not connected to anything else we have at Sycamore, so it's an alphanumeric username and password specifically for this website. And those are auto-generated every year. So what you're going to do when you go on this website, and there is another video that goes step-by-step how to go through this site, but basically your whole point is to put in all the classes that you want to take. You're planning for the whole year, so you're planning for first semester and second semester, and you'll have a combination of year-long and semester courses. And you're going to go in and put in all the classes that you think you want to take. Then your counselor, Mrs. Rose, and myself, we will go through and we'll verify everything with you and make sure everything that you put in is accurate, it's the next sequence, it's what you were recommended for, all of that stuff. So instructions for the online scheduling will be mailed home that second week of February, so next week from when we put out this video. And then you'll also get a copy by email the same time you get your username and password. So we'll send it out a couple different ways just to make sure that everyone has it. And like I said, there will be a tutorial video specifically to this to help everyone make sure that they know how to go through this process. So one additional change this year, as for those of you that were with us last year, we didn't have a specific recommendation day with all the changes that we were needing to make with the COVID and safety guidelines. So teachers have had, really an open window of time to talk with their classes about what their recommendations are for next year and the different sequences. One additional change is that when you log on to the online scheduling system, you're actually going to see your academic class recommendations already in the system. So your English, your math, the science, and the social studies, and perhaps global language for those of you continuing with a language, you'll see those in the scheduling portal already when you log on. And then all you'll need to do is really add your electives and fill out your schedule from there. We do know that it's very possible that you might have had additional conversation with teachers beyond when those recommendations were originally made. So if you want to make a change to your original recommendation and what's in the scheduling portal, that is perfectly okay. Just know that'll be something that Mrs. Rose and I will do with you when we meet with you one-on-one. So just know you'll see those main courses in there. If you want to make adjustments, that'll be something that we have time to do when Mrs. Rose and I meet with you. So one of the things, and Mrs. Rose is going to talk about this a little bit more in her portion, but the one thing we want to make sure that you are doing is you're being thoughtful in your selection. Keep in mind your summer assignments. The last year's summer assignments are still available on our scheduling website, so you can see what different classes required last summer. And think about your balance of your academics and just your other activities that you have going on in your life. By now, most of you, if not all of you, have really figured out what's a good balance as far as difficulty level in classes and how many academics, if you need a study hall or not. So just make sure you're continuing to think about that as you plan for junior year. And just know if you have questions, we're here to help. So know that we will have time set aside for each of you to meet with us one-on-one to go through everything that you have. So this is when we want you to just put in the classes you think you want to take. You put those in the online system, and then when Mrs. Rose and I meet with you, we will discuss and adjust as needed.
Let's talk a little bit about what we need in order to plan for creating the best schedule for you for junior year. So the basics that Mrs. Brenner and Mrs. Rose have gone over with you many, many times at this point. What are the credits that you need for graduation? So these are all laid out right here where you can see your English, math, science, social studies, your PE and health, your fine arts, and then your electives. Kind of talking about rounding out your schedule. So academics are just one part of your schedule. So your core academics, we always require that you have at least 4 academic classes for each semester. That is required. And then we talk about your graduation requirements. So kind of those outlier credits with your physical education, health, and your fine arts requirements. So we see where your progress has been made with those. And we highly, highly recommend that your PE and health will hopefully be taken care of by the end of your junior year. And at least one of your art semesters. So we will talk with you about that. And then the rest of the time we'll fill in with some interesting electives. We want you to explore and pursue your passions, try something new. The best thing about high school and the opportunities that you have here at Sycamore is that there are so many options for electives that you can try out, dip your toe in an area, see if you like it, so that then you're not maybe making a mistake in the future thinking about trying something that you might not like, or maybe you find something new that you didn't even know you liked. So take a look at all the different elective options on your sheet and try to pick something new. Also consider a study hall. You can absolutely have 1 year, full year study hall every single year and still meet all of your credit requirements. So there's no worry there. If a study hall works for you, do not shy away from having one. Here's a planning tool looking at grade 11 and 12, because as we're planning, we're halfway through high school. So we're thinking about the next 2 years kind of at the same time. And it can be helpful in trying to create the best plan for your classes. So here's a side-by-side comparison and planning tool for what 11th grade classes might look like and 12th grade classes. So you can kind of see how many slots you have open, things to think about. So use this as a tool. And then lastly, we're going to have a conversation with you individually. So you will go through this process. You've talked to your teachers. Starting February 15th, you'll go ahead and put your classes in on the scheduling system. Then Mrs. Brenner and I are going to meet with you in person or virtual individually to have that conversation about your schedule. So you will have that opportunity to make any changes or adjustments. So just do your best. Put in everything that you know how. And then we will have that discussion. So if there's things that need to be removed or added as we're having that conversation, we can absolutely do that during our individual meeting. How that's going to work is in person, we will see students in study halls first. So if you have a scheduled study hall in the building, we will meet with you during that time. And then we'll send passes for you if you do not have a study hall, or reach out to you to schedule that meeting. If you are a virtual student, we will schedule a meeting with you through our Calendly link. So we're going to be sending out individual emails to you with a special Calendly scheduling link. And so look for that to come to your inbox so you can go ahead and jump on and schedule your time as soon as it's available. The last piece I wanted to show you is, remember that Mrs. Brenner and I have shared with all of you a credit check that is specific to you. So go into your drive, and if you just search credit check, it will pop up and you'll be able to click on this document. All of these credits at the top will be populated just specifically for you, and then you can see where you are with your test points. And then down at the bottom, you can take a look at those graduation seals and see kind of what your progress is, or maybe take a look at honors diploma requirements that you might need. All of those links are there. So think about that as a planning tool as well. When Mrs. Brenner and I meet with you, we might even walk through and create this 11th, 12th grade planning tool with you if it's helpful. And we can add that as a tab in your credit check sheet. So we'll kind of talk through, as you're thinking through your schedule, think about your career ideas. Think about what future education ideas you have. Those all come into play in your schedule. So don't be shy about that. Please let us know wherever you need help. And just know we will have individual meetings with you. We're really looking forward to planning the next 2 years of high school, as I think we all know that it's the most exciting time for you in high school.